here at Gym Challenge number 8 into semi-finals. We have Grant Weldon and Alicia Martinez going on stream here. I'm Dennis Geisler, with me Robert Matthews, and we have Pikachu with us, and it's Sprigatita's. Sprigatita's off screen. Also, it's green, so it'd blend into the green screen behind us, so I don't think that would work very well. But we have Grant and Alicia here in semi-finals to qualify for the finals here. It's Premier Challenge. Everyone's getting CP out of this one, and Grant's team has the Tornadus Incarnate, the Regidrago, Rillaboom, Urshifu Single Strike, Heatran, and Farigiraf. While Alicia, we saw her earlier, it's the Hisuian Arcanine, Tornadus Incarnate, Rillaboom, Urshifu Rapid Strike, Farigiraf, and Flutter Mane. Robert, what are your first thoughts on these teams? We saw Alicia earlier.
Both of these, both of these teams, like, both of these teams, like, they want to be in Tailwind, but like but there are some sort of pieces on both sides that are faster than like some of their others. The Regidrago also like is going to maybe have a bit of a harder time with the Flutter Mane, and with the Flutter Mane being a fairy type, and the Arcanine and the Farigiraf being able to turn into fairy types.
Yeah, that could be difficult in terms of later matchups for the Regidrago. You're right, definitely that both teams want to be in Tailwind, although Alicia, the only one who has Taunt on her Tornadus, so if we get an early Tornadus matchup, that could be an important breakpoint. One, which Tornadus is faster? There is no Mental Herb on either of them. They're both Focus Sash. But as we can see here, two Tornaduses matched up against each other. It's Flutter Mane with the special attack boost and the Heatran on the other end. So, see if Alicia has the faster Tornadus to get the priority taunt off.
Now, the Tornadus on Grant's side, there's two Tailwind options, but two speed control options, but Taunt can stop both of them.
Grant's Tailwind moved first. Alicia went for the Tailwind as well and moved second. See if that was a speed tie or just the way it goes as this progresses.
The Heat Wave from Heatran doing a little over half to both of them.
Good damage there from the Heat Wave. And now, as he mentioned, the Scary Face on Grant's Tornadus. That is the way that Grant will be able to inflict extra speed control despite both sides putting up the Tailwind. Could slow down that Flutter Mane to try to get Heatran ahead of it. Flutter Mane will just protect out of it.
And Tornadus on Alicia's like going for Rain Dance.
I like that choice. Buffs up your Urshifu Rapid Strike whenever you end up out of there. And lowers the damage of that Heat Wave when it comes out.
Wave is going to hit the Tornadus and still knock it out anyway.
Does knock out the Tornadus, but I feel like its job was done. Tailwind is up, Rain is up. If Urshifu comes in now, you can feel pretty comfortable, all things considered. And indeed it does. It's a tough spot.
Though Urshifu might have to Aqua Jet, and something to think about with the Aqua Jet is that Farigiraf could just come in and stop that from happening.
Yeah, you do have to be concerned about the stoppage on the priority as well as not going for the priority and just getting hit instead. So Urshifu, not in a terrible spot regardless. Tornadus, at the end of the day, the Tornadus has to pick which one it doesn't want Heatran to just get destroyed by. And it will basically just have to Scary Face that one, and Urshifu might have the option to do that. We'll get the Terrastal here. Should be the Urshifu Terra Water, as we love to see around here. With that Mystic Water, Terra Water will do lots of damage.
Moonblast is not going to be enough to take out Heatran because of the 4x resist.
Does drop the
Wind Storm from Tornadus, also not going to take any knockouts. But dropping Flutter Mane's speed
That could be significant. See if the Surging Strikes, that's gonna absolutely destroy Tornadus. Fluttermane, okay, so Fluttermane's still standing as of right now. Heatran hasn't moved yet. Tornadus knocked out by the Surging Strikes.
Heatran going to Flash Cannon and take out the Fluttermane.
That'll absolutely finish off that knockout. Overall, difficult decision to go for the Moonblast into the Heatran. It means the Heatran will stay standing. We'll be able to output one more attack before it gets knocked out by its own Life Orb. Now Rillaboom the choice to come in for Grant here.
And for Ricorath, coming in for Alicia means no fake outs or grassy glides from that Rillaboom.
It definitely does, and Urshifu will try to put out as much damage as it can against this Rillaboom. It could also protect, try to get Heatran to use another Heat Wave, get knocked out by the Life Orb recoil, and reset your turns a little bit. Not sure when the Tailwinds evaporate, but that won't really matter because both teams will lose their Tailwind at the same time. So the speed will stay identical. Urshifu will protect, so we'll wait this turn out. Heatran will go for the Earth Power into the Urshifu, so it will take the hit and get a little bit of grassy terrain recovery. It won't lose anything to the Life Orb. Both targets attacking the Urshifu and both get protected.
Ricorath going for the Psychic into Rillaboom.
Not horrific damage, but not especially good damage. Heatran. A little bit of HP back. I'm not sure if it'll take the Life Orb hit. It'll be very close. Tailwind petering out now. That means that we have one more turn of Rain Dance remaining. Chief will probably want to take advantage of that. Instead, it just goes for the close combat with the Rillaboom. Not going to pick up the knockout.
Earth Power into Urshifu.
That will certainly pick it up. Now we see if Heatran gets knocked out by the Life Orb recoil.
Did Heatran get enough back from grassy terrain to get another turn, and it didn't?
It did not, and so that means the Heatran will fall as well. Well, Woodhammer plus a Psychic from Farigiraf should do it. A critical hit nearly knocks out the Farigiraf. Not going to do it, though. And all of that recoil is going to finish Rillaboom off before Farigiraf can do anything. So, it will use Psychic in an empty field. Now, one final Urshifu coming in here. It is Single Strike. Does have Choice Scarf.
That's
with just one Farigiraf remaining, the Wicked Blow will absolutely finish it off, and Grant will take game number 1. Very well played by Grant there. Very offensive from both sides. We're definitely seeing... we saw a lot of this in Regulation D with the extreme offense teams, where everybody was run by the Tornadoes, everybody was pushing near Urshifu, and everyone was kind of knocking each other out pretty quick. This battle, knockouts most turns, and high damage output all the time. Well done by Grant to take advantage of that and have the best Pokemon at the end. If Alicia can try to manage that for game number 2. It was a Tornadus and Fluttermane lead in the last one, which didn't go terribly, but did result in the Heatran just lingering a little bit too long. I think that might have been, and the Moonblast into the Heatran instead of a Shadow Ball allowed the Heatran to take another hit, wait a couple of turns out, use the Earth Power to finish off the Urshifu. I wonder what the battle would have looked like if that didn't happen, because then Rillaboom wouldn't have been able to use the Woodhammer onto the Farigiraf, which got a critical hit, but regardless, gave the opportunity for Urshifu Single Strike on Grant's side to come in and win with Wicked Blow. I wonder if Alicia will try to rebalance the priorities there early on in the battle. See Grant lock in his team. Alicia, still considering, now locks it in. We'll see what these two decide to change up for game number 2. Grant, 1 win away from finals here in this premier challenge. Alicia looking to pull back the set.
Tornadus Fluttermane from Alicia and Tornadus Regidrago from Grant are our game 2 leads.
Very interesting. We spoke before about how Fluttermane is able to wall the Regidrago's dragon moves, which is most of what it wants to do. But it still does have Earth Power if it wants to try to hit the Fluttermane, and it can just try to output damage if it thinks that's a better option. It could go for something like a Draco Meteor into the Tornadus to try to make sure there isn't too much going on, or it can Terrastalize to try to maintain its HP as much as possible in a Tailwind versus Tailwind.
Indeed, the Terra on Grant's Regidrago to Poison.
Terra Poison again, so it will resist Moonblast now from Fluttermane and Dazzling Gleam.
Tailwind from Grant's Tornadus. And also Alicia's Tornadus.
Alicia's Tornadus being a little bit slower than Grant's Tornadus is potentially causing some issues here. Lots of damage there onto the Tornadus. A little bit of damage onto Regidrago. Still do a lot of damage with this Dragon Energy. Hitting just the Tornadus. Gets it down to the Focus Sash. Now some decisions to make for Alicia. Do you want to try to get the Rain Dance up again? Not a whole lot of value for it, but Tornadus is very close to going down, and you're going to lose a lot of value regardless.
Scary face from Grant's Tornadus coming out into Flutter. Weak Wind is going to miss something. It's the Regidrago.
That's a rough miss onto the Regidrago. You do not want to see that if you're Alicia. The Regidrago now still with a bunch of HP to work with for the Dragon Energies. Finish off the Tornadus. Fluttermane staying around. You don't necessarily love to see a Fluttermane lingering like this, but...
And as it Shadow Balls into the Regidrago.
Does mean the Regidrago now basically has, I'd say it probably has one Draco Meteor in the tank, and then it's probably going to drop. And even then, it might get knocked out by whatever comes in. Regidrago's not the fastest thing in the world. Urshifu coming in on the other side doesn't have anything that does a ton of damage to Regidrago, so it might just get blown up by Draco Meteor.
Well, actually, like, a Surging Strike should actually be neutral now because of the Terra.
Surging Strike should be neutral. Yeah. Wonder if it's it should be faster. Although the fake out pressure is there. Unless Farigiraf comes in here.
Fluttermane
it does.
For switching off Alicia into Farigiraf. And Detect from Urshifu.
This could have been a good opportunity to, yeah, and it was the Draco Meteor into the Urshifu, so well read there by Alicia for sure. Woodhammer will still come out in the Farigiraf. That should do a pretty decent chunk of damage. Doesn't get the critical hit this time, and all that Rocky Helmet damage and recoil coming back to hit it pretty hard. Now some choices to make for each of these players. Can't Grassy Glide if you are Grant. You kind of just have to click Woodhammer. This Regidrago doesn't have a ton of options. The Urshifu definitely wants to finish it off as quickly as possible. Draco Meteor probably still one of the better options. You can't protect up against the Urshifu. And Farigiraf is... Farigiraf isn't doing much right now. Probably good to finish it off, but in any case, Regidrago will protect.
Protecting.
Maybe the correct
going
decision.
for close combat.
Narrow margin there on the Rillaboom taking the hit.
Wood Hammer from Rillaboom out into Urshifu.
That rings the bell. One hit knockout. Goodbye, Rillaboom as well. Going to get knocked out by the recoil. So a good protect there, good moves, good reads from Grant. Picking up that it was going to be a close combat into...
Frigarath attempting a Psychic into that protect.
Yeah, picking up that it was going to be a close combat into the Rillaboom, saying, I think I take this. If I do, then I should be able to deal with this Urshifu and keep my Regidrago standing. And now Regidrago doesn't even have to Draco Meteor at this point. That was a weird angle. Urshifu comes back in. Now the question is, what does Urshifu want to do? You have Iron Head to hit Flutter Mane, doesn't hit Furgiraffe very hard, but Regidrago can use like a Draco Meteor onto the Furgiraffe to try to finish it off. Or an Earth Power, just lock itself, not lock itself, but just start using Earth Power because Draco Meteor will drop its special attack so much. Although I think if you want to play out the rest of this one, if you're Grant, you probably want to end it this turn, which probably means knocking out both these Pokemon this turn.
Let's see, there's a Terror from Alicia on the Frigarath.
It does mean both these Pokemon are now immune to the Dragon-type moves that this Regidrago wants to use, but does mean they're also both weak to the Iron Head that this other...
Flutter Mane protecting, which will not really help against the Urshifu.
And indeed it will not. Urshifu will knock it out. Now the question, Draco Meteor into the Furgiraffe, not going to do anything. It's Trick Room from Furgiraffe. So this Furgiraffe has Dazzling Gleam. The question is, what does this Dazzling Gleam do up against this Urshifu single strike? And even more so, what does it do against this Regidrago? Furgiraffe is on fairly low health, fairly low HP.
Dazzling Gleam from the Frigarath.
Needs to knock out the Urshifu.
Going to be enough to knock out the Urshifu.
It does. Will it take the Earth Power now, is the big question. If it can, it probably wins this battle, and if it can't, it probably doesn't. And it easily takes the Earth Power. That should mean one more Psychic and Alicia is able to drag this one to game number 3. Way too much left in the Furgiraffe there. Psychic, not going to do anything. Into the Protect, and just a little bit of HP regen, but I don't think that this is going to matter all that much.
Oh, there's a double Protect. There's a double.
Not sure what that's really going to accomplish, but
like I think even if Grant gets enough protects for this Trick Room, I don't think Earth Power does enough.
I don't think it does either. Although it will at least allow it to stall out a little bit more, and there's the Psychic. And that's going to be the knockout. Grant will drop game number 2, Alicia bringing it back. We'll head to game number 3 to decide which one of these two will go to the finals. We saw in that game there that Grant decided to commit to the Regidrago, and it just didn't work against the Fairy types, like you mentioned before the series. Flutter Mane totally walled Regidrago, the Terra Fairy from Furgiraffe totally walled Regidrago, and even though Regidrago was in a decent spot for most of it, just couldn't really do much of anything. I wonder if Grant will decide to pivot away from the Regidrago for game number 3. It is what won game number 1 for him, but Alicia seemed to have some answers. Alicia's led Tornadus and Flutter Mane in both of the first 2 games. Both of the first 2 games, both players led with Tornadus and both opened with Tailwind. Wonder if they want to try to change that, or just say, I can't let myself get slower than you for any period of time. So I'll get my tailwind up and I'll let you get your tailwind up. That kind of idea. Grant.
Although if you're able to get Tornadus, like if you're able to get an extra turn out of the Tornadus, you could potentially wait for the tailwind and like have one turn that your opponent doesn't have.
That is absolutely true. It means you're slower on the first turn, but it means you're faster on the last turn, which might mean more later on. At the same time, with the pace of these battles, I don't know that you can guarantee that your Tornadus will be standing next turn. In any case, game number 3 here. Winner goes to finals here. Once again, Tornadus and Fluttermane for Alicia. It's Tornadus and Rillaboom this time for Grant. The Rillaboom, a nice answer to the Fluttermane in that kind of side matchup. Assault Vest makes it take the hits pretty well, even through the special attack booster energy. Also give you the opportunity to just do a lot of damage to Fluttermane.
There's also not really too many switch-ins to that Woodhammer.
There really aren't. We haven't seen Hisui and Arcanine all series, and it's not a great answer, but it's at least a better answer.
And even then, it's like that's still like a neutral hit.
Yeah, it's just that it would drop Rillaboom's attack by 1 is really the only reason that would be a good switch in. Alicia switches out Tornadus. Brings in the Farigiraf instead, maybe predicting a Fake Out or a Grassy Glide. Neither of those is what's going to happen. Alicia also goes for the Terrastal. It's got to be the Terra Fairy Fluttermane. A lot of early predictions here from Alicia. So there is the Terra Fairy Fluttermane. Tornadus gets the Tailwind up. That Woodhammer does come through, and it picks up the knockout. Oh, I don't know what Alicia was going for there, but whatever it was, it certainly did not work. That Fluttermane will fall. Grant probably seeing the numbers there, knowing the option, and there goes Fluttermane.
And that's the Urshifu. Can't really do too, which can't really do that much to Rillaboom.
Yeah, at this point, Rillaboom has a lot of options and just hitting things really hard. It's also Terra Grass, which you don't see a lot of nowadays, but makes it do so much damage.
There actually is a it's more common on like the Miracle Seed. More common like Miracle Seed sets and like Dragonite, Chinpao, Farigiraf like kind of teams. So it is a little bit surprising to see here, but like not like on like this specific kind of a set, but not like overall unheard of.
Leak Wind comes through, only hits the Farigiraf. There's a Detect from Urshifu. Woodhammer directly targets the Farigiraf, and that's going to knock it out. That means that opens up the Grassy Glide once again for Grant. A couple of great reads from Grant early on in game number 3, and that might decide this series altogether. Just the Tornadus still here for Alicia, the Tornadus and Urshifu. If there are any two Pokemon to put it together, it's those two, but it's going to be tough with no Terra and Tailwind disadvantage. This Rillaboom does so much damage. As the options here, I can go for Woodhammer to definitely guarantee the knockout, or I can go for Grassy Glide as just a quick, okay, we're gonna make sure we we're gonna make sure we hit you first at least. Because Grassy Glide with all of this setup is going to do a lot of damage to this Urshifu here.
And Urshifu is going to attempt the double but not get it. Grassy Glide from Rillaboom into this Urshifu is going to take the knockout.
I like the try on the double, it just wasn't going to do it.
Weak win from Grant's Tornadus going to do a lot to Alicia's Tornadus. Weak win from Alicia's Tornadus will hit both targets, knock out the Rillaboom, and do like a little less than half of the Tornadus.
Yep, it'll end up being a question of which Pokemon Grant wants to bring out to finish this one off. It'll probably be the Urshifu Choice Scarf. Just make sure it's the fastest thing on the field. It's under Tailwind and it's Choice Scarf. It can just pop out a Wicked Blow and finish this one off. And indeed it will. Grant Weldon will head to the finals here of Gym Challenge number 8. Alicia falling in semifinals. A great run altogether still. But we're going to see Grant's team in the final round. Curious to see how it'll match up against whoever we do see in the finals. Tornadus and Regidrago didn't get to do a whole lot this series, but certainly have their power, and we've seen them do big things in finals here before. We will take a quick break. On the other side, finals at Gym Challenge number 8. You don't want to miss it. Don't go anywhere.